The Persona series has been around since 1996. It's actually older than me. But it finally hit the mainstream in 2017 with the release of Persona 5. But that doesn't mean that it's the only good one. Every Persona game I played all entered the list of my favorite games of all time, without exception. Okay, the dancing games are an exception, but they were actually pretty good rhythm games, which is a very underrated and one of the most satisfying genres in gaming. Originally, this video was going to be a video review of Persona 4 Golden, which is why most of the footage is going to be of Persona 4. But every time I wrote a script for it, it just felt boring and generic, and Persona deserves a lot more than that. It's my favorite video game series of all time, and I don't think I can ever completely express my love for the series. But I'm still going to give it a chance, and at least convince you to give the series a try if you haven't yet. And if you did, it's time to remember a JRPG great. First off, what is Persona? You're a transfer high school student who has to change schools due to reasons like moving back to your hometown in Persona 3, moving in with your uncle due to your parents' job in Persona 4, or being on parole and expelled from the school in your hometown and have to transfer to Tokyo in Persona 5. You then get to meet new friends and stumble upon a different world, an isekai if you will, where there are monsters called shadows that threaten people who enter that world. However, you and your friends awaken to a special power called Persona, which is actually accompanied with a sick anime cutscene of the first awakening that always hits me with goosebumps. Just watch.
Persona.
And I am thou. From the sea of thy soul I cometh. I am Orpheus, master of strings.
So good. Every mainline Persona game usually starts in the same way, but after the awakening, that's where each game takes a different route to tell its story, and that's basically Persona. Personally, my favorite Persona story was Persona 3 for the longest time, until Persona 5 Royal came out, and gave me my favorite piece of storytelling in all of gaming, with its third semester, and single-handedly made Persona 5 Royal my favorite game of all time. Persona's gameplay is divided into two halves. First is the JRPG half. The mainline Persona games all have a turn-based combat system, where you go into battles with a team of 4. Except for the main character, each party member can only have a single persona, with its own strengths and weaknesses. For example, Yosuke, your first party member in Persona 4, can use wind attacks, so naturally, he's strong against wind, but he's weak against thunder. The main character, however, has the ability of the Wild Card.
Wild Card.
You can have multiple personas, each with their own abilities, strengths, and weaknesses, and change between them accordingly in battle. And you can also fuse them together to gain even stronger personas. I'm going to be honest with you, fusion can be very addicting. I always try to fill out the compendium 100%. With the exception of Persona 5, in Persona 3 and 4, it's better to decide on a party and stick with it, as those who don't participate in battle don't get any XP, and later in the game, they'll become incredibly underleveled. Thank God for Mishima and Persona 5, which transitions us nicely to the second half of Persona, the Life Simulator. This is my favorite part of Persona. Everything's connected. When you spend time with your friends in the real world, it has an effect on you in the other world. For example, when you hang out with your party members and increase your friendship level, or social link in Persona 3 and 4, and confidence in Persona 5, they gain extra abilities like being able to do follow-up attacks or cure ailments, and you can also fuse stronger personas with each social link level. But it isn't just your party members. Even your normal friends give you benefits in battle by allowing you to fuse stronger personas in Persona 3 and 4, but Persona 5 did it best. Every confidant gives you special perks like being able to switch partners mid-battle, or Mishima's ability which makes all of your party gain XP, regardless whether they've participated in battle or not. So far, I only talked about the benefits of social links, but are they themselves any good? Yes they are. You get to know your friends on a deeper level and see them grow to become the best version of themselves. Of course, not all of them are great, some of them go along really clumsily, but thankfully, it's not something that happens very often. Each entry in the Persona series has a theme, and it isn't subtle about it. It usually hits you in the face with the message it wants to deliver, but I don't mind it. Persona 3's theme is about depression, and that life could end at any second. It keeps hitting you with death, and even the opening keeps repeating the phrase Memento Mori, remember, you are mortal. Even though its themes are grim to say the least, it's got an optimistic take on it, that you should always live your life in a way that you won't regret, and live it to the fullest. Persona 4's theme is about searching for the truth, and its story is a murder mystery, which makes sense with that theme. However, it's not just that, but it's also about being true to yourself and stop putting on appearances. Persona 5's theme is anti-corruption and to always speak against injustice, and in P5R's third semester, it turns into anti-escapism. I won't spoil it, but it's a fantastic story, and one that should be experienced without a doubt. Other than themes, each entry in the series also has a distinct music style. Persona 3 has a J-rock hip-hop theme in its tracks, Persona 4 is more poppy, and Persona 5's acid jazz, and all of them are great listens. The soundtracks are composed by the great Shoji Meguro, one of the best composers of our time. All of them are bangers, but my favorite is Persona 3. From the very first moment when I heard the riff of the opening, I knew, then and there, I was playing something special. Even if you don't want to play the games, or if they just don't interest you, you can still listen to the soundtrack and still love it. Now comes an important question. Which one should you start with? Personally, I'd recommend starting with Persona 3 first, and preferably Persona 3 FES, or FES. If you start with Persona 4 or 5, going back to 3 is going to be tough, simply due to not being able to control your party's actions. Everyone knows the infamous Mitsuru, Marin, Karen. So, I'd recommend starting off with 3 FES, then 4 Golden, and finish it off with 5 Royal. Just play Persona. I love this series with all my heart. In fact, Persona is what got me into JRPGs. Before it, if a game had turn-based combat, I'd avoid it like it was the plague. But after playing Persona, JRPGs became my favorite and go-to genre in gaming. When I first started YouTube, I knew that one day I'm going to make a Persona video, and now that it's out on all consoles, it's the perfect time to go and play it. I hope that I convinced you to give it a try, and if you played it before, then which Persona is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below, like and subscribe, and until next time, matane!